And I am always talking about climbing the wide receiver ladder. And when feet meet fire, you got to make a decision here. So, Cody, in a 10 team start 10 league, half point PPR, you giving up 102 and 105 to get up to Amon-Ra St. Brown, you get 210 kicked back.
Yeah, I don't even need the kickback on this one. 102, 105. I'll gladly pay up the shallow format. Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown. Still a top 6 wide receiver for me personally. Well over a 102, 105.
All right, let's talk about it.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Welcome back to another episode of the All Gas Trade Show. I'm Ty at Ty Declare 44. That's Cody at Cody Smith, TFDR on X, and this is the All Gas Trade Show. Cody, thank you for joining me this week. Got a special guest, my man Gabe. He's out with family doing stuff all over the world, I assume. Just our little world traveler Gabe. So thanks for the last minute call up here, Cody. How are you doing, man?
It's been a while since I've not been on the show. I was actually on the show, on this channel recently, but haven't been on with you on this one for a while because we've done a couple of these in the past. So it is definitely good to get back on. I'm not okay with the freezing temperatures down here in Texas. I could do without that. I don't like it when it goes below 32 down here. But other than that, we got 7 nations tonight as we're recording this. So y'all will know the outcome if it was a sweep or if we do that one-on-one little trade-off. I got to rep that one right now. I know we're on opposite sides of this one as much as we're on opposite sides of the screen.
That's apt. Yes, the opposite side of the screen, opposite sides of the hockey game today. But we'll see if we can get maybe 4 fights in the first minute this time. But happy, excited. It'll be a good time. We're going to talk some trades. So really quick, patreon.com/allgas, ddfantasyfootball.com. Use code trades, trade GOAT. Get into the All Conference Plus Discord tier or the GOAT tier. If you want everything, don't ask me about the Gort tier just yet. That's coming. But you can get 50% off your first month using those codes. Hop in. If you use those codes, hit us up. You get a roster review with me and Gabe. Underdog, use code ALLGAS. Get your first time deposit bonus up to $1,000 and your first time special pick. Like I said, YouTube, make sure you hit like, subscribe to the DD Fantasy Football YouTube show. We are popping right now. We got Scott, Shane, Dynasty Theory, Mannequin Chill. It is popping over here. So not a better time to be tapped in. And Cody, talking about tapping in. The people gave us so many trades this week that I had to go through to figure out what the hell are we going to talk about. How we're not going to hit 47 trades on this show, but I see a lot of talk, again, a lot of trades about climbing that wide receiver ladder. And you mentioned in a shallow format, it's whatever, man. It's get me into the top 6 wide receiver, top 15 dynasty asset. I don't know how you want to carve it out, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is that. And for 102 and 105, I think that's a pretty equitable price to get in there. I think getting the 210 back is pretty savvy. Even in a 10 by 10, that's still the top 20 player in this draft. And from what we know today, it should be deep and there should be players who people like. So yeah, I'll take Amon-Ra on the 210 here, but I know there's someone watching at home, Cody. I just know there is. They're saying, man, 102, 105, that's a lot. That's some premium capital. There's going to be some great players there. Talk to me just a little bit more about like why it's Amon-Ra over the picks here.
Yeah, I wonder if people would have, or if you or me would have the differentiation if you move that 102 to a 101, where you get that pick, or you have the 101 tradability for a couple months yet, and you have the option of taking an Ashton Jeanty instead of what I would do here, at least as we see it now, would probably be a Tet McMillan. So in my mind, I'm kind of basing this around, hey, I'm taking Amon-Ra. Don't think any of the quarterbacks would go here, especially in the 10 team. So then I'm looking at it as maybe like a Tet McMillan and maybe like a Caleb Johnson, Amari and Hampton, something like that to supplement at the 105. And while I like both of those players, the people who know me on this channel know me as the veteran lover comparatively to the upside of what those rookies could potentially give me. And whenever you're only starting 100 players, yeah, both of those guys could work their way into a top 100 each and every week. But Amon-Ra St. Brown just probably slots in as either my wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 if I'm stacked at that position. And I'd rather have that. And that 210 that you give me back, deep running back class, deeper class kind of in general, where it flattens off for me personally. So yeah, I really like the top side here.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm thinking about, you take that 105, maybe you kick that down to like 19, 110, you get a future first. Like you can pull a deal like that and you're talking maybe more like 3 firsts for the package. Like I'm maybe a little more into that. And I do think right from what we know right now, from 101 to 102, it's feels like a sizable gap, really. Like you know that at Gen 2 with what we know today, maybe things will change. But in a 10-team league, I don't expect the quarterbacks to creep up there into the 102, 105 area. So it's really not going to affect it much. I like your thing. If that's Tet in the 105, yeah, I mean, I'll probably just take Amon-Ra there. Give me the 210. I'll figure it out. So I came into this thinking I might want the picks just for what I can do with them. But really, man, 10 by 10, just let me go hammer hunting. And if you look at this team too, I think that'll definitely push us over the edge if we were ever on the line. Wide receiver room, Amon-Ra, Puka, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., and Godwin. You're just climbing. You can barely fit a Godwin into your lineup even in a 10 by 10. So seeing that team, yeah, you still have the 101 as well and the 110. So let me climb. Maybe I can take that 110 and 210 and figure something out with that. But definitely Amon-Ra, knowing everything we know.
And you still have the 101, so you can still take Ashton Jean to there. And then you just don't have to make the bet at the wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's probably a pretty stacked, loaded team as long as your quarterback room is, set in a good place. And maybe that's a position where you could, like you said, use those picks to do something else. Like, I don't know if maybe this is the locked and loaded thing you need, but I know this name. J-Ball's been around for a little while, and I know what that entire team probably looks like. This is probably just buying an absolute stud team, and you might as well just do it whenever you have this embarrassment of riches.
Might as well, man. You get the round of applause early. Good job, J-Balls. Appreciate the entry. Look at this. I went through. I got some pinned ones. Let's hop down to Dynasty Alex here. So we got a 12-team start 11 Superflex lineup. PPR 0.75 tight end premium, 0.1 point per carry, and a 6-point touchdown. We'll get into the roster because I'm sure that'll sway us one way or the other, maybe. But Plant Crew getting Tony Pollard and JSN sending away 1-6, 2-8, and 302. So again, 12-team start 11 lineup. I'll tell you what, there's going to be people who want more than that package just for JSN alone, Cody.
Right. Yeah. I was starting to try to put that one together because right now, I mean, I may not have came into last year as the biggest JSN fan, but with what he did and what he showed out, and especially there's the rumor swirling about DK and everything there as well. And who knows if he even comes back to try to even compete as a 1A, 1B with JSN as it looks like right now. So, yeah, I mean, even if you're looking 106, 208, I think most people would call that potentially even or still in the JSN. And then you're at a third for Tony Pollard. Just on value on the names alone, I think you got to take the receive side here.
Yeah. So we got we got to the finish line. We know what side we want, but let's kind of analyze it a little bit closer. So I mean, Tony Pollard and even 302, like the earliest 30 you can get this year. I'm talking to the veteran lover, the crust lust man himself, Cody. Pollard or a third, or does it have to be 302, or where does that come down for you?
I started putting this one together whenever I just saw Pollard. I canceled out the 208 and the 302. Okay. I think most people would probably say the 208, but yeah, I'd still 302. I'd definitely smash. I mean, he's still going to be, as I would view it, Tennessee has a lot of needs on that team, and running back isn't really one of them. So I don't think that they invest anything highly there, and it's still a Pollard and Spears show for one more year. So, yeah, I would take the production that Pollard's going to give me, especially as you're sending away all these picks. It looks like you're building for that type of an outcome. And we'll see more whenever we get to the roster here. But, yeah, for that price, even the 208, I'd be fine with.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're sitting with the 106, right, like we haven't even hit the combine yet. So I don't need to liquidate all my picks. I want to maybe let the process play out a bit. But if you're sitting there at 106, like I assume JSN is on that list, but are there any like wide receivers in particular that you might be going for if you have a wide receiver needy team, or you're just trying to climb that ladder? Like, what are you using that 106 to try to do?
So it's hard right now because I don't think if we're looking at making the pick at wide receiver, then there's always seems to be a drop off from where Tet goes and then where the next wide receiver goes, which is typically you're going to be looking at the Igbuka, or you're going to be looking at Bond, Travis Hunter, maybe if that actually does pan out for him. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I'm going to go the rookie mode. And then if I'm looking at the wide receivers, I don't really think. Man, I've seen some people have been hating on AJ Brown. I mean, if I could do that one, then we might be throwing the 106 there. But I don't think that that's actually happening in each and every league out there right now. Maybe you can target like a Romo Dunze on a little bit of a on a little bit of a bounce back year, because I think he's still a very good wide receiver, and obviously the offensive scheme is at least trying to improve this year and going forward. And then you're down in the Devonta Smith, Worthy, Addison, Zay Flowers range, and I'd probably start to hold around that point.
Gotcha. Yeah. I was going to do a little like would you rather name or pick, but I think you named most of the names that I was going to name. So maybe I'll leave that one there. But let's look at the whole team. So we got Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Anthony Richardson. So enough a quarterback. Brian Robinson, Pollard, and Cans. So Pollard slots in as your RB2. You got the Cans. So any running back on a 53, just going to keep going there. Nico, Drake, JSN down, Shaheed. You'll figure that out. You can definitely add some more crust as we even before the season starts. We want to there. Pitts 1-2, 1-8, 2-2, 3-8, 4-2. I like having those picks in the class here. So looking at the team, anything else from this one?
Still like having the 102, 108. Obviously, I think the biggest need you need to address, unfortunately, is Kyle Pitts right now. In a 0.75 tight end premium, you might be looking to either like a 202 or a 108, be addressing that one through the draft or either through the veteran market as well. The rest of it, I think you can get by. I'd love to add another running back here as well. But the wide receiver room, I think you may be heavier with this team, that you really still need to build it one more year, but you're on the way up.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Nice one, Alex. Love to get that. Remove that. Get it out of here. All right, Nasty Nate. Let's get this one. 12 team, start 11, Superflex, PPR, 6-point passing touchdown, 0.15 rushing first down, 2-point PPR for tight end. In a rebuild, so maybe not the best thing to do, but they were bored and wanted to get neighbors. Been there. Still have 102, 111, some later picks. So we still got some cash in the bank. We went ahead and got Malik Neighbors in 305, sent away that man Zay Flowers, 104, and 202. So Cody, I mean, if 10 by 10, we're spending way more to get up to Amon-Ra. Malik Neighbors feels like he's right in that same arena. 104, 202, Zay Flowers. They all feel more or less expendable if I can get into a top 15 Dynasty asset. I think Malik Neighbors is that. I get a third in the class. I have zero issues with this. What do you see?
Was this a shallow format, or is this the deeper 12 by 11 format?
This is the 12 by 11, yeah.
12 by 11. I guess you could maybe say you're giving away 3 assets since it's a little bit deeper.
That's 3 assets, right? Like Zay, 104, 202. Those are all things you can use.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving away 3 assets, which you don't exactly want to do in the format that is starting to get to a little bit deeper. But I mean, if you're just getting bored and throwing out deals and you get this back, like, I don't know how I can really be upset with that, right? Yeah. I don't know how high up in Neighbors, like the Neighbors wide receiver ranks you are, but I know there's people up there who are like wide receiver 3 over CD right now. And if you have that and all that you have to give away is, I mean, maybe you can probably pull a back end first for Flowers, a 104 and a 202. Yeah. That seems like a very good price. And I get a little bit of a kickback anyway.
Yeah, get a little kickback. I mean, really, when you're playing in that, like what? Amon-Ra, Nico, CD, Puka, Neighbors, well, I'll say Brian Thomas Jr., like in that kind of tier of guys, like there, maybe you can find the manager that feels that they shouldn't belong in that tier and you can get for less. Or, I mean, again, here, as long as you're going for board deals, keep sending out these and keep getting these back. Maybe be bored more often, because I would love to back into some Neighbors for this kind of a price.
Yeah, that's just almost regardless of format one for me. Maybe once you start getting to like 14 teams, start 12 best ball, we might start to flip a little bit the other way. Not obviously not to that extreme probably, but it would take an extreme.
And like we say that, right? But like if you're sitting there and you're trying to craft a trade, like it does take some cojones to put, you know, a Zay Flowers 104 and a 212 into a single deal to consolidate. So, you know, it does take some motivation to even send that deal because of what you're sending away. But you know, with what you're getting back, it really shouldn't keep you up at night. So.
Is there any concern with the rebuild, I guess, because that is your consolidation factor? Because we did have that within the question as well. And typically, whenever you're in that like massive rebuild, you don't have any pieces that you have going forward with. Still, for me, though, you're moving into a solidified Neighbors. And if you are in a full-on tank, you've now trimmed down the number of players that you're actually putting into your lineup after you go through this draft class. You still have a influx of Neighbors points that's probably going to hit. But really, I don't think this is even the worst thing, even for that rebuild team. You're going to have to split back down maybe eventually, but you're still putting it into a Malik Neighbors asset that everybody's still going to like going forward, unless he gets injured or goes out there and just absolutely bombs somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I had this kind of mental struggle on one of my rebuilding teams where I sold 101 earlier this week in a deal. We're not going to cover it on this show, but the point is, I had to think, is this deal, I like this deal. It's a fair deal. Like I can see myself doing this deal, but what's the opportunity cost of me moving that pick now versus maybe trying to wait for one of those more like traditional early picks where you trade down in the first, get a future first back? Like, does that help my rebuild more? Or does, I'll say the Ben Masonism, parking my money in a smart area, right? I think in this case, you get into Neighbors, I think you can just use that much more than you can with a Zay Flowers, a 104, a 202. And I think, yeah, so Neighbors opens up more trade opportunities. It's, again, you're just kind of getting into a tier of guy who, I mean, Malik Neighbors went through the season with the crappy quarterback and he's still up there. So any positive news, it should only continue to be positive for Neighbors. So I think you're kind of, I mean, de-risking yourself maybe because you don't have to make picks at that 104, 202 this year. You're already kind of kicking that decision down the road, consolidating that into a Neighbors. Now, if you keep Neighbors, do something else with them, that's up to the user, and that's maybe where you choose more like how it fits your rebuild. But if you get into a guy like Neighbors, it probably shouldn't matter as far as that. So I have no issue doing that in a rebuild.
Correct. Like, as long as these aren't your three main assets, and goodness, if Zay Flowers 104 and 202 are your three main assets, like that's not a tank. That's a full-on nuclear explosion of a roster that's going to take a couple of years to get right.
Yeah. If I feel like I'm parking a Ferrari in a trailer park, then I probably shouldn't do it. But if I have the bare bones of a team, this you probably can't go wrong with something like this. So, oh, good God. Nice one, Nate. Thank you for sending that in. Let's go to DTs. Okay, we got a couple from DTs here. Got a couple done this week, mostly new orphans. All of these deals, so we're going to go over two deals. You don't get all the deals from the show, but two deals. 12 team start, 10 super flex, 6-point passing touchdown, -4 interceptions for quarterbacks, 2 PPR for tight end. In the Caleb deal, the pick is 111. So one side of the ledger, getting into Caleb Williams and Jaden Reed. The other side, get into your boy, Bucky Irving, Brandon Ayuk. And what was that? The 111? 111.
Yes.
Bucky, Ayuk, and 111 for Caleb and Jaden Reed. Cody. I said the resident, the first seat on the train for the Bucky Irving hype train. What are you doing in this one?
First seat on the Bucky train, but unfortunately, I have jumped off the train because people have taken it too far down the tracks. It is a wild ride on the Bucky Irving hype this year. I don't think it's going to start going out there and getting 20 carries a week, guys. That's not the Bucky Irving that I even watched, and I don't think it's Bucky Irving we're going to get all the way through the season, but it's what he's kind of being valued at right now. But for that, you do get, you get into Caleb Williams. I have a question to you. Just what do you think about a 6 by -4 scoring for passing quarterback league? I guess you don't really like Caleb Williams is going to give you the both of them, but I don't even know with it's that high of a negative INT if I really want the passing quarterback for the 6 points on the touchdowns, or if I would want the rushing quarterback. I don't know which way. Which way do you lean on that one?
I mean, all I know is it makes me scared. It makes me feel a certain way, like investing in either like a rookie quarterback or just, again, someone that hasn't really shown yet at the NFL level. Like Caleb progressed and that's what you can bet on. But when you're dealing with -4 interceptions, that's going to change some weak outcomes. So I don't love it. It probably makes me want to aim higher at quarterback, but end of the day, we're just kind of projecting and hoping, and maybe Caleb is the one that gets it right this year. So I would be more cautious about buying into that kind of a quarterback with those settings.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So I think once they start looking at it, I don't think you could pull even a 111 for Jaden Reed anymore if I'm trying to cross some stuff out. And it doesn't really equate to Caleb Williams either, because he'd easily be best quarterback in this class. You're trying to move up to like a 103. So then I'm almost looking at it as like the 111 and Bucky for Caleb and Ayuk and Jaden Reed. I know people are really low on Ayuk coming off the injury, but they've also plummeted on Jaden Reed. There's a lot of out there that they might be getting another wide receiver, and it would fall even further. So I think that those two can probably wash, and then I'd put it at 111 and Bucky for Caleb. And man, if my quarterback was right and I could do it, I kind of want the 111 in Bucky. But if the quarterback isn't right, it's one of those kind of team dependent ones where I want to trade. If I can trade from excess with Caleb, I want to do that. But if I need to go get Caleb Williams, I would also be perfectly fine with it on the other side.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good way of looking at it. I mean, yeah, Ayuk, Reed. I guess I'll take Ayuk, but I think you're playing in very similar waters there. I'm good to cross that off personally. There's probably someone right now screaming in the comments saying absolutely no way is that a cross up, but that's for another day. I agree. It would be definitely team dependent for me because, I mean, you think about it, right? Like a running back that, Cody, what you probably drafted in the second last year, and a late first, maybe the third, and a late first for Caleb Williams. If you showed me this screenshot a year ago, I would be not be able to stand up because of the effects of that deal. I think I'm gonna take Caleb, but like you said, if my team has the quarterback set up and I'm trading from a place of excess, I feel like I can do a lot with Bucky in today's Dynasty atmosphere. 111's not bad. Brandon Ayuk, sure, we'll swap that. But yeah, it really comes down to what your team needs, I guess, in a deal like this.
Yeah, and I'd love to see like warp on this. So yeah, go on over, get access to that warp tool, because I would love to see what a 6x-4 does to the quarterback position. I haven't played in anything like that one. And on Ayuk and Reed, they are wide receiver 31, 33 on KTC. So definitely wash outable. Beautiful.
Love that. And then DTs didn't stop there. Again, 12 teams start, 10 big minuses for quarterbacks, 2-point PPR for tight ends. We got Devontae Smith and the 108, or T. Higgins, Jerry Jeudy, and the 302. Now, Cody, when I saw this one, I kind of wanted to have just a little bit of discussion about T. Higgins, maybe compare that to Smitty, and then look at the deal from there. I mean, I feel like Higgins was a guy that you could have, like, if you were willing to send any first at some point last year, you probably could have gotten Higgins.
Yep.
Now that we're in the free agency period, what the T. Higgins owners have been hoping for 3 years, maybe there's something on the horizon when really probably the best situation was maybe to stay in Cincinnati, but I'm not gonna mention that. But what are you doing with your T. Higgins? Like how are you approaching this offseason with T. Higgins? And then what do you think about this deal where you're getting Devontae 108 or Higgins, Jeudy, and the 302?
It's just, I don't have enough of a difference here, I don't think, between Higgins and Devonta Smith for me personally. Like, I love Higgins coming off of the year that he had, but we're going on franchise tag. We're in all of my accounts going back to Cincinnati. We'll see if it ends up happening fully. Still has to play out, but I still think he's going to be back, and I still think he's a very good player. But it feels like last year, because he did so well, just washed away all of the years of injury history that we've had and had to work through with him. And like you said, any first probably could have gotten him, and a 1-year spike up really has launched him to a different level. Because once I start looking at the rest of it, and it's Jerry Jeudy in a third or a first, I don't have much of a comparison there. So that gap delta between those two, if I'm looking at that, I'll easily downgrade from a Higgins to a Smitty, and I'll just take a first, and I can do a lot more with that than I can the Jerry Jeudy in a third.
Mm-hmm. No, I think this is pretty savvy. There comes at that point where if you're willing to, even if you look at it as a small loss between Higgins and Smith, if you're willing to make that kind of a shakeup to get the secondary part of the deal, that's pretty savvy. Yeah, definitely want 108 over Jeudy and a 302. That's not a doubt. And then just the delta between Higgins and Smitty, it's just not there. It's not far enough for me to really want to make that move. So I was just curious because, man, like I see a lot of Higgins love. I see some Higgins hesitance. So was curious where you're at, but it just feels like maybe we're more willing to pay up for Higgins this offseason. And I don't really know who's right yet, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I kind of agree with consensus. They've got him in here at 16. I'd be around like probably wide receiver 15 to 17. And then Devonta Smith is only 3 wide receivers lower. That's certainly a large delta to place on the 3 wide receiver gap. Obviously, yeah. KTC is whatever it is, but I'll still trust it enough to take the first over that delta.
Definitely. All right, Girth Brooks. We got a couple here from Girth, so I'm going to scroll up. We're going to hit some of these quick. Girth, you got me. You hooked me with keeping in the same league, and I love some same league deals. So we got a 14-team start 12 Superflex, point PPR, 2-point tight end premium, and a start 2 tight end. So this is the tight end format. 2 PPR, start 2. A few moves I've made in the offseason. Some cheap Laporta. And I cannot disagree when you get Sam Laporta for 108 and 214 and a 14 by 12 2x2 for tight end.
What the dog doing?
Cody. Yes, I'm paying that for Laporta, yeah?
Yeah. Do you want to make like what? I don't even know what that 214 would have to be. It would have to be like another 10, like a 104.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. It'd have to be just stupidly higher for me to even be questioning this thing.
I think putting Sam Laporta tight end 1 last offseason, that was us getting ahead of our skis for sure. He didn't really look great like at periods of the year, but he ended the season scoring 15 plus points per game in the last 3. Laporta, yes, in this format, you just have to respect the opportunity that he will get in that offense. Just give me the tight end there. Yeah, that's parking your money in a smart spot in this league. So give me Laporta. We don't got to spend a lot of time on that one, Cody.
Yep.
We mentioned Rome Odunze earlier, 14 by 12 PPR, all that good stuff. 2026 first. No real info on where that 2026 first is, so we'll call it truly random. Odunze or Tyrone Tracy in a random first.
That one's a close one. I kind of like the upside is going to be the upside is the random first. You tell me it's a 101, and that's a lot higher than Rome Odunze is ever going to get to. So this is coin flip for me. I don't know. I'll pitch this one back to you, but I don't think Tracy's just going to go away. So you're at least getting the 2 players here. I like the Rome Odunze bounce back narrative, like not to the level that we saw with JSN, but I can see that type of a bounce back. But I'll take the coin flip on the first and say that it lands on the correct side of 106 next year. Yeah,
it's an interesting one, and it kind of just comes to the process of like when we get to you're outside of the elite range of wide receiver, you have the hopefuls, you have some of the producing vets, like it just gets in that really messy middle of wide receiver. Are you willing to bet your future first to make that happen? And if you do, like what is the projection of your team, or what are you going to do after that? So just the tip RAR is not involved in this deal. So I know that they've made that deal maybe before, and now we're just playing with a pick we already got in a previous deal. If I have multiple first, that definitely changes how I feel about things. Either I want to hoard more, or I'm happy to spend them, however my team is set up to do with that. But yeah, if I'm sitting here, random first, Tyrone Tracy, you're adding in any running back on a 53, and you're just taking you know what? If Rome Odunze can take a step forward, but he doesn't break into that upper echelon, then as long as it's not like the 111, 112 next year, or if it doesn't have like that stink on it, because we talk about like random first, future first, but when you trade that like champions first, like no matter what you do, it's still going to have that stink of being a late first. So you really can't do like as much with it. If it's one of those first, I'll take the shot on Odunze, but if it is truly random, I'll take the first.
Yeah, I think my line would be like the 107.5 projected, somewhere around there that I'd want to do it.
I like that.
107, 108.
Yeah. Like you're on Dynasty Daddy, like the 14 team. So if they're basically a top half team or a bottom half team, like right around in that middle, I'm willing to take the bet. This might be like if you play in leagues with just the tip RAR, you know how they navigate. Maybe you can take more of an educated guess there. But again, I just like based on just everything alone, like Rome Odunze, I think people like him, and if he shows well, people will still like him. So that's why I like to get into Rome for maybe a price like this, but it truly, truly depends on where that 26 first could be.
Yeah, large bet.
Cool. Okay, so now third deal from Girth Brooks. Again, 14 team start 12 super flex PPR, all that nice 2x2 tight end. Devon Achane, Lad McConkey, 102 and 207 being acquired. For the guy you just got, Rome Odunze, send him away with Caleb, with 114, 113, and a 2026 second. So we're going to cross some things off. Again, we don't know what their quarterback room looks like. So that's 2 deals with Caleb that we'd love to know can be what's with Caleb. But right. I mean, I'm just going to start right here. 2-7, 26 first. Cross it off. Right. You know, some people will be on either side of that.
Sure. Yep.
102 or Caleb Williams straight up, Cody.
I'd probably take Caleb. No, again, goes back to that question of where exactly I'm at. But I obviously want him over any of the quarterbacks. And then I'm looking at like which of the guys after assumedly Gene T I'd probably want right here. And so you got the Tet, Caleb, Omari and Hampton guys. And the 14 team will put Caleb at the 102 for me.
That's where I was going to come back to the 14 team. And just, you're playing in such a scarce position. Like, end of the day, whether you like Caleb or not, you're getting into a guy who's probably going to have a starting job for the foreseeable future, at least. So I'll take Caleb over the 102. And then, I mean, you're talking Odunze, 113 and 114. So technically 2 firsts for Ladd and Achane. People love Ladd. People still love Achane. Put the whole deal together. I think you can have some fun maybe with the Caleb Williams side. You get the stack, whatever that's worth to you. Give me Achane, give me Ladd, give me 102, give me 207. I think you're just parking your money in smart spots. 14 by 12. I don't need to have the studs, but if I can get difference makers at the right positions, it might make me easier to navigate things. You get up to 102, you're gonna have some fun with that pick. If I had a problem at quarterback and I'm trading away Caleb and making more of a problem, this probably isn't the deal that I'm seeking to make unless I have a direct plan on how to address that going forward.
Yeah, I mean, unless I'm taking the 25 or unless I'm taking the 113 and the 114, I can get 226 first. Then it makes it a little bit more interesting because now I'm getting Rome 226 first for Achane and McConkey in that equation. But I don't know how receptive your league would be to doing that. And if you're trading away the 113, 114, maybe you already tried to do something like that, but there's a reason I think that those picks are in here, and that makes me lean definitely to that left side on the receives.
Yeah, just the tip RAR, just getting his picks all over in this deal, not involved. So getting some free pub on the show. Girth, a couple good deals. Let us know, people. 14 by 12, like what are you doing in there? I assume everyone's on the Laporta side, but especially in like this Rome deal, like the future first and stuff, like how are you navigating that? What are we feeling? Diaz, I'm not going to do that to you. We don't need to go over that deal, buddy. Let's see here. Roy G. Here we go. 12 team, start 12, 2 PPR for tight ends. Not competing. Love Genty, but thought this was a nice cash out on him. The 26 first is likely to be very, very late, Cody. So 104 and a late first for 101 and 2.8. So, I mean, we've talked on the show so far. I mean, maybe there is that gap from 101 to 102. You're going from 101 to 104. You're getting a future first. Probably going to be late. 2.8's a nice pick in this class. 12 by 12. So that matters. I'll admit at that point, depth matters in fantasy, like to an extent. So 101 and 2.8 or 104 in a future first.
Man, the very late does make this a little bit closer, obviously. Trying to evaluate what that drop down is and what your return should be from the 101 to the 104. I do think it should probably be roughly about a first, and maybe it is a back end first. That kind of checks out. Kicking back to 208 does hurt a little bit. Like I'd rather do this deal with the third in there, and then I'd probably be like, oh yeah, we're firing up and ready to go. But the 208 just makes it feel worse for some reason. But I do think that there's some upside with the 26 first. It's likely to be late, but we see every year, like one of those contending teams gets into week 4 of the season and they've suffered 4 injuries and they're like, oh God, what am I going to do now? I've already traded away my first and we're just either going to have to take my second down into the lowest it could be or try to get my first back. So it's always just better to have the one that has the pick that has the 1 on the front of it. And so I will lean that side. I do think it's a decently solid cash out. The 208, I'd rather figure out something probably to keep, but I'm okay with where this one's at.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the screen for those listening. I mean, the 104 and this 26 first both belong to Jacob Hauschild. I'm not sure.
Sounds right.
But I mean, if you're going from 104 in 2025 to a likely very late first in 2026, like I'd love to see that glow up. I'd probably the team's full of Godwin, Diggs, Marv, Kyler, like everyone that underperformed this year. Maybe they bought it at the right time. They're looking good. Maybe they just had horrible injury luck this year. Maybe I'm just not all the way there putting the late stink on that first, but maybe I have zero context on the league that you see. So I'm going to trust your gut there. But I agree. I mean, a future first to go from 101 to 104. I don't know if you get any more than that. So it's probably fair. You kick me back a 2-8 and a 12 by 12. I like getting that range. I just like having seconds this year. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. I'll be able to do some things with them. Tat them into deals. If I have to make a pick, cool. I'll be, I think there's a high chance this year someone you can get at the 202 and the 208. Maybe you don't feel, strongly one way or the other. So you're happy to let others make the deals for you. You get up to Gent, you get up to 101, you get more of maybe a known asset. I'm going to take 101 and 28. But if that first is maybe more likely to be mid, if you tell me you have like 102, 108, you're flush with seconds already, yeah, I'll just take 104 in the first, I guess. So a bit team dependent, but with what I know today, I'll take 101 and 208.
Yeah. You think that's a heavy lean on this one at all for you? For me, it's just not enough of a gap between 101 to 104. So yeah. I'm okay with it, but I think I could go either way. Like you said, a little bit of context on this one could swing me both ways.
Yeah. No, I just like in the second back of the. I think that's probably a nice way to do it. Like if that was like 302, I'd probably just be on the other side, right? I mean, again, you're probably playing the same water, but it's just nice to get something back there. If you didn't put so much stress on the late part of that pick, maybe I'll feel different. But it's truly a bit of a coin flip. Context would push me one way or the other. Okay, good one, Roy. Let's scroll. All right, Camilla's dad. How we feeling? 3-team deal. Okay, Cody, strap in. 3-team deal, 12-team, start 9, super flex. Not going to go into team context just yet. So 3-team deal. Again, 12-team, start 9.
Oh,
Justin Jefferson and Jalen Hurts is the first part of the deal, being acquired for Drake May, Bucky Irving, Marvin Harrison Jr., a 26 first, and the 109. I feel like I have to stop there because that's a whole damn deal in itself. Cody, we got to cross some things off. We have to figure some things out. Like, where do your eyes go first on that top deal?
Oh, man. I think I want to start it at May and the 26th first for Hurts. I probably still want a little bit more on that, but I think that's where I start. And then that looks like it. Then it's Bucky, Marv, the 109 for Jefferson, and that doesn't feel like it's actually too far off either, because I'm getting up into wide receiver 1, wide receiver 1B range. Man, for a 3-team trade and with as many heavy hitting assets that are here, like it's actually pretty close.
I think I agree with you there. Again, I'm just going to make sure. Yes. So 12-team, start 9. When I'm on the fence, something here, I'm just going to lean to actually get into the studs. But I mean, if I have Drake May, I'm probably not adding more than whether it be the 109, a future first, whatever you want to add there. I'm probably not motivated to add much more to get up to Hurts. That's probably a fair deal, but I'll still take Hurts. I'll just take the Konami code. And then, yeah, if you're talking Bucky, Marv, and a first for Jefferson, I think that's a very fair cash out. If Marv bounces back, you're going to feel awesome about that deal. You have Bucky, so go flip him for 106 plus right now if you can do that and just move on. But if you're saying I'm taking these assets, I'm holding on to them, and I'm just playing with it, 12-team start 9, I will take Jefferson and Hurts. I will take the hammers. You can have, bell cow Bucky Irving and the picks there, but that's a very spicy start.
Definitely for a 3-teamer.
So second part of the deal, Drake May, Marv, 109, and that 26 first for Jefferson and CJ Stroud. So CJ Stroud's really the only part of the deal we haven't touched on yet. CJ Stroud, definitely not Hurts. How are you feeling here? May, Marv, 109, and a 26 first for Jefferson and CJ Stroud.
This one, so if I'm crossing out again, then I'm basically just swapping May and Stroud. And while I'd rather have May and the rushing upside that I think he presents, I know obviously the down year from Stroud is going to factor into us a little bit, but I was always much lower on Stroud than quarterback 4, the vault that he got without any rushing profile floor. And then again, you have kind of like a 3 first evaluation for Justin Jefferson. It makes sense and checks out again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the difference here again, you're just not maybe getting into the plus rushing range with like a Hurts. I like getting Marvin 2 first for Jefferson. I'm fine to cross off May and Stroud. Choose your favorite, honestly. So I'll take the package here. So that would be, again, if I'll climb up to Jefferson for the top part because I'm getting Hurts with it. But if I'm not getting up to the Hurts in the second deal, then yeah, I'll take the May Harrison first and 109. And I guess that means that Bucky Irving is the difference for me. Bucky Irving's the difference between CJ Stroud and Hurts, I guess. So take advantage of me for that, my league mates. Anything else in that second deal?
No, not on the second one. I think that's good. I still don't hate the Send side though. Like I would be pretty tempted to take that one just because I love Jefferson so much, especially the start 9 format, and I can handle if May doesn't surge up this next year. I'm still perfectly fine at Stroud. Yeah. So I wouldn't have a lean that way, but I definitely don't mind that.
Yeah. And now I swear I didn't look down like 2 inches, but the third deal.
I was
CJ
wondering
Stroud
if we were
Bucky
just getting straight into it.
No, I truly did not look. That's actually pretty funny, but also I was just doing straight math. I would have come to the conclusion that's the only deal left is CJ Stroud and Bucky Irving for Hurts. Cody, my Bucky boy, no longer on the train, but you started the damn fire. CJ Stroud and Bucky Irving or Jalen Hurts.
I think I'm just going to take Jalen Hurts. I don't have enough of a separation between the pocket passer and Jalen Hurts, who's still my quarterback 3, 4 up there right now. Hurts for me is just still at a different range. And while I love you, Bucky, and I love my CJ Stroud as well, I think both of those could come. One's already crashed down. I think the other one could come crashing back down in value as well. Start 9, just give me the quarterback that'll assume that role.
Your Bucky card's getting cut up and canceled after this show, let me tell you.
I've cut it up. I've turned it in.
No, that's a very fun. Hey, usually there's always a loser in a 3-team deal. I didn't necessarily see one there. So
yeah, I don't even hate the Stroud and Bucky side at the very last one either.
Damn it, Cody, Perk Daddy got me 2 deals. Okay.
Oh.
So I've been thinking about this one all week. I recorded that solo show last week. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Listen to me ramble on trades for an hour. This is the one I ended on, Cody. I just wanted to get your thoughts here first and foremost. 12-team start 10. Jamar Chase, 306. For Brian Thomas, the 203 and the 26 first. I waffled back and forth on this one for too long after I've been rambling for an hour. So I just want to see fresh set of eyes. 12 by 10, pretty standard league PPR. Are you going up for the hammer of chasing the 3-9, or does Brian Thomas Jr. 2-3 and a first? What does that do for you?
What's the difference in the seconds here?
I'm sorry. Did I say so? Chase in the 308.
308.
Let me just make that big for you so you can see it and everyone else can see it. Bang. Chase 308 for Brian Thomas Jr. 26 first and the 203.
I feel like the 203 to 308 gap. I'm remembering this one now from my Saturday morning watching of the show. And I think I got to the point where I was just like, man, the Brian Thomas hype with the 26 first, but it's freaking Jamar Chase as well.
I know.
I waffled right alongside of you. I do remember doing the same exact thing on this one. I think that second, third swap will push me over the edge, and I'll just take the Brian Thomas and the 26 first.
Okay. Because I swear, I've been thinking about this damn deal like all week. Like, man, like what I do? Like, what would it take? So, thank you, Perk. That was the first deal. Okay, so then Perk made another deal, and I've lost it in my scrolling, so I'm just gonna go back here and pull it up this way. Bang. So same league, 12 teams, start 10, Superflex, PPR, 0.5, tight end premium. Perk Daddy gets into Chris Godwin, the 111, and a 26 first. Trades away 103, 208, and the 308. Cody, I like early picks. I do. I like getting into second and third this year. I do. maybe I have too much love for Chris Godwin and what he showed before his ankle was no longer connected into the joint. But Chris Godwin, 26 first and a 111. That's a fairly nice cash out for 103 plus. No?
Yeah, the only first in this year's class that I would take two firsts for, or I would spend two firsts to get, is the 101. I'm not spending two firsts on any other player in this class, so I'll take the 26 first and the 111. Even though the 111 is back end, I'll still take that shot. And Godwin well over the 208, 308 for me, even though he is coming off the injury. I mean, that's where I live and breathe, man. That is perfect time of the year to start to acquire these type of guys for those later round picks, and everybody else is taking the dart throw. You get the veteran. I'll take the risk on the injury here. I'm perfectly fine taking two first for a 103.
Yeah. And for Barry Smart, the way you mess up this deal, you take that 103, you diamond hand it, then you choose Tet. And you just had to have Tet over Godwin, and Godwin will probably keep outproducing Tet for a couple of years. So Perk, I like it, man. Godwin, 26 first, 111. He believes one of the top 5 backs will be there at 111, and Godwin fills out in his second flex. Restock the 26 picks too. Yep.
Agreed.
I like it. So you made that, you sent away a first and a 203 to go get Chase, and now you restock it with a deal like this. Both of those like that. Give me Chase in that first deal now. Let's go. Yeah, he's definitely a bell cow. So
Yep.
Good stuff. Okay, Cody, we've hit a lot of deals here, man. We're making good headway. Drake May again. Roy G. 12 team start 12. 2 PPR. I'm assuming 2 tight end. Okay, Drake May and 203 or 103 and a 26 first.
Ooh.
Yes. I mean, damn, like 101, like you should probably feel comfortable sending 101 for Drake May.
Correct.
You add a 26 first to that equation. I mean, I can't fault anyone for taking the cash out, but if that's a convicted first, I'm very comfortable sending, like if it's a late first, like sending that and that pick for Drake May, and that dastardly 203. How do you feel?
It just sits there and stares you in the face, and you're like, man, but it's so nice to just get that little bit back, and feels like it really evens it out. Did we have the 26 first projected late on this one, or do we have any 26 first projection? I think I'll probably flip on that, and I'll hedge dependent upon. So
Roy G's a big rebuilder. They had Dak, JJ, and May, so gambling that JJ is him. They want to get more liquid, hopefully flip the 103 for a 26 first plus. The best guess for the 26 first will be fringe playoffs with a chance of being early. So possibly an early first, 103. For Drake May and 203, you're taking the bet that JJ McCarthy and Dak can fill in for Drake May. Yeah, if that's an early first, I think we're both going to be in lockstep. That we'll take 103 and an early first and figure it out. But
yeah, and with the whole plan here, obviously I'd love to have Drake May on the rebuilder over a Dak and a JJ, but I don't have any real concern about those guys just being phased out of the league within like that 2 to 3 year window range as well. So if you want to just take this cash out and then you have that plan with the first already, I'm perfectly fine doing this. But I definitely see, I like it. Probably what's going to end up is I like it for both sides here. If I had to take a lean, I'll actually just get liquid, take the picks.
Yeah, just don't send the 203 next time, or I'm sure that's what got it done. But damn, like that just stares you in the face. It sticks with you. So when I look in the mirror, I see 203 behind me. But no, good one, Roy. Okay, dokie. Nick, this is what we're ending. We're ending on a big one. 14 teams start 10 Superflex, 1.5 tight end premium, 6-point passing touchdown, -1. Defending champ with an aging wide receiver room. So he gets into Jerry Jeudy. Can't quit. Got to get back in on that Jeudy. Sends away 211, 212, and a 26 third. We've talked about a varying range of wide receivers on this show, Cody. Jerry Jeudy had, I'm going to call it the best year of his career. And you're taking a handful of pocket lint, whatever helps people will treat these picks of 211, 212, and a 26 third to get into Jeudy. Do you want the 2 shots in the second and a third to do something with next year? Or do you want to take the convicted shot on Jerry Jeudy?
This one just kind of hurts me in my core because I think I want the picks, and that's disgusting for me to say. But being a decently big Cedric Tillman truther for his little run that he had there, and you just have nothing at quarterback right now, and you just have no idea where you're at. We did have a moving on from Ken Dorsey as well, I believe, right? Who was that high volume passing offense, and he's always going to be the one to throw. You're obviously, I mean, I would assume you're not bringing Jameis back after you benched him down the stretch for DTR to just suck more. And Jerry Jeudy, like we saw that fantastic run, that 200+ yard game, but I've just seen so much of just I don't care about Jerry Jeudy that I don't like it too. It's basically like I'd say it's 3/3 for Jerry Jeudy, and if I say that, I don't like it, but I think I just want the picks and I'll re-roll because I don't like the situation, and truthfully, I don't really like the wide receiver all that much either.
Yeah, I think if this was my team, what I don't want to do is to consolidate and trade into the Jerry Jeudy range of wide receiver. I'd rather let someone else be right or just stop myself from being wrong on a deal like that. I think if I can get that, I'll call it a 3-for-1, I guess. But like you said, 211, 212 and a third, it could be just 3/3. I think what I would want to do with that, I'd probably want to see if I can add, a couple of those seconds into a deal to push something across the line as we're getting to the draft process here. Or again, if I'm just taking 2 shots at the back of the second this year, it's not a bad place to do it. I get a third. Maybe I can go and get Jeudy when the Cleveland offense is hot garbage next year. Just take that third and something and get back into, or I guess for Lurkus, get back into Jeudy for that. So I'm gonna take the picks. It feels gross. I just don't want to pay into that range of wide receiver in February, Cody. I just don't.
No. And what was our roster size on this one? Does it do anything to get a 3? You are 14 by 10, but that's going to equate. So you are bigger there with the 140 starting every single week.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, let's read
the aging
team.
Wide receiver room also doesn't exactly make sense to me. Like Jerry Judy's what, like 27 now as well?
Oh gosh, how old is he? Clickety clack clack clack. 25.
Oh no,
he's 25.
He'll be 26 in like a month. Wow,
yeah.
Jerry Jeudy came in so young. I do forget that.
Yeah,
but it gets you younger. But I could also use 3 picks to get myself a lot younger of potential aging or potential wide receiver room as well. I think this is just more player takey for me though, because I don't like the picks either really, but I like one a little bit more than the other.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like Tucker, I'm looking at the wide receiver. Who is Tucker? Why is my brain breaking? Tucker. Is it Tucker Kraft? He's
Trey Tucker?
Trey Tucker. That's it. Okay. So here, let's read this roster. So Lamar, Dak, Russ, and backups. 14 by 10. Box checked. You're good. Running backs. Saquon, Achane, Kyron, Moss, Shipley, Ty, Johnson, I assume, and McClellan. Yeah.
Or Chandler? Yeah.
Or Chandler.
Being written in there, you would.
Maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe
yeah.
I'm on this team.
Strap up.
Yeah. A point per shitty take. In those leagues, you'd be winning. Wide receiver: Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Jerry Jeudy, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, Calvin Austin, and De'Ami Brown. If I'm looking at your team and I'm like, man, Jerry Jeudy, I'm not automatically slots in over like 4 of your wide receivers. Like, I get it, but I think even still with that wide receiver room, I think I'll just take the picks, man, and just. You have so many damn running backs already, so you're already jamming those guys into your flex. You just need 3 wide receivers. Evans, Tyreek, and Jacoby Myers will get that done. I don't know if Jeudy changes your bottom line there.
This team is hanging on by a thread, honestly. Like I like everything, but that wide receiver room is 1 year away from just nothing.
Yeah,
and I get trying to get a little bit younger at the position, and it's going to be just player takey from me, but. Just Judy's not where I'm trying to go to fix that.
I think I'm in lockstep with you there, but no doubt about it. He's ready to get hurt again, hopping back on the Jeudy train.
Hey, different strokes. If he's your guy, go hop back on the train.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, hey, Cody, this is really fun hopping back on here with you, man. It was a good conversation, some good deals. We saw some wide receiver navigation, some pick talk. So not on TikTok, but we got some pick talk. So if you're looking to make some deals with some of these picks, especially as we're approaching the combine, probably a good time to try to get it done, especially these like seconds and thirds. Just watch the hope and the excitement rise to the community as we watch dudes run fast in underwear. But Cody, where can people find you? And how are you going to console yourself when America loses today?
I will be consoling myself with the tears of Canada because you will be consoling yourself. And we're coming for the country next, bud. So get ready. That's the real fight. This is just the starting bit. This is just the starting point.
America's top hat, baby.
Oh, we're all good, but no. Right now we're on hiatus. You can see me come in here and be on the shows. I'll start trying to guest state a couple more times whenever I can find the time to do it. We'll see if we get back on the Overreaction podcast as well on the DD Fantasy Football Spotify or wherever you get your podcast stream. We'll see if we pick that one back up. Chase, if you're out there, let's go. Let's get it back up and running. Ooh. And also at the Fantasy Draft Room if we pick that one back up as well. But make sure the biggest place to tap into every single week is right here.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Love you and Chase so much, man. So happy to hop back on here with y'all. You chirped me so hard about being America's top hat that you knocked my camera out of focus. So I don't like how that bodes for tonight. But yes, patreon.com/allgas, ddfantasyfootball.com. Use code trade GOAT. Get in the door. Get your roster reviewed. Save some cash. Underdog, ALLGAS. Get your special pick up to 1K at sign up. Again, it's the best place to be in Dynasty right now in fantasy football. DD, we got it rolling. We're having fun. This is a very, very exciting time. So tap in, stay on the channel, go check out a mock draft, go check out Shane Says, go check out Dynasty Theory, hit the like, hit me with a comment, and have a great, great Saturday.